check in on the all-in Cowboys schedule. Strength of schedule, 12th hardest, Brew. 9 games against teams that made the playoffs last year. And another trip to San Fran where they got manhandled last year. Joining us from Chicago, 670 The Score, again, taking the oddest vacation in the world. Danny Parkins, still working. Brew, the win total is set at 10.5. I heard from the producers that you picked some of the games.
Well, look, I didn't want to do what everybody else does. All right, so I wanted to be unique. Let's throw it up there.
Okay, here we go.
Here's what I see for the Cowboys. You say 11 wins on there.
10.
I think they have 9 definites.
Oh. Okay.
9 definite wins. I don't know if we have a graphic on that because I didn't write them down. But they got 9 definite. Okay, there it is. All right, 9 definite wins. You got New Orleans, the Giants, of course. You know, you see some of
Falcons,
them. The Falcons,
Eagles.
The Eagles in Philly or in Dallas.
Yeah.
In Dallas, they'll beat them. Washington. Who else?
Giants.
This is solid so
Carolina,
far.
the Bucks. And yep.
You got 4 definite losses. Baltimore, Detroit. Yes, I'm saying Detroit. San Francisco, of course.
And at
at Philly. And then you got a couple
make it bigger for them. Good job, guys.
Right. So they'll live in those 4 games where can we win those
Pittsburgh?
games. Pittsburgh made the playoffs last year.
I mean,
and who did Dallas have trouble with last year?
Not Pittsburgh.
Teams that made the playoffs. Oh, y'all forgot?
No.
Let me remind you, this is what the Cowboys were. They were the kings of the tomato cans. They're not a tomato can, but they were the kings of beating tomato cans.
Got it.
All right? So you said it, Wiles. 9 playoff teams they played this year. 9!
Yeah.
All right? Last year they played 8, including the playoff game. Yeah. They won 3. Okay? And here's the deal. Let's look at the 3 wins. The Rams, while they were struggling, it was early in the year. They blew out the Rams. They weren't good at that point. Philadelphia, when they were in their supernatural funk.
I'm going to lose my mind.
Which they won't be this year. And then Detroit on some heebie-jeebie stuff at the end of the game with the strange call with the illegal receiver.
They basically lost
and then,
that game.
Dan Campbell
goes
for 2-3 times in a row.
Did they have any weird losses that could have been wins?
Not that I remember.
Oh, really?
All right, so we know how great they've been at home. 16-1 the last 2 years at home.
Yeah.
Struggled on the road, 8-9. They got some tough home games. The home games, I know they got Baltimore at home. They got Houston at home. Yeah. Obviously, Philadelphia, Detroit. Yeah. I mean, they got some tough home games. So Brew, I see about 10 wins. I'm going to give them one of the question marks. I see 10, maybe 11 wins. I think they're 10, maybe 11
This is the most ridiculous. Hold on, Danny, you go in a second. What's the answer?
The answer is 10, maybe 11 wins. Do you see 11 wins? 10.5 is a great line to set it at. I'm going to say...
You did all
day to
10.
prep this
I'm
one.
going to say 10.
Okay.
I'm going to say 10.
All right, go ahead, Danny.
Wow.
Excellent.
I can't top
Excellent.
that. I'll
No, none of us can.
That's
We're all
amazing.
just playing
Fantastic.
tambourine.
So I do see 11 wins, but I don't really think it matters. Like, everyone needs to remember, Dallas is really good. They scored more points than any team in the NFL last year. They had the best point differential of any team in the NFC last year. They have the best
Beating up on
Danny,
tomato can. You beat up on my Patriots. You beat up on the Giants.
We don't know who's going to be good. We don't know who's
100
gonna be
points
bad.
against Mac Jones.
A lot of tomato cans. I understand that. Yeah. But they have a good quarterback, good receiver, good edge rushers, good guys who will turn you over. They're a good team. But it's all about the postseason. And so I had my guy Ramsey look it up in case anyone had forgotten when it really matters. They've won 12 games 3 years in a row, right? But not a lot of playoff success. It's like, all right, how many conference title games have they been to? Who's the answer? 3 straight years do not appear in a conference title game.
Trivia now, Dan?
Yeah.
What is this?
There's a long list.
I thought the graphic was broken. I thought that was a place.
That was yesterday.
Okay, sorry.
All right, show us the answer, the entire list. This is it.
In all of NFL history?
We've never seen this before. 12 wins, 3 years in a row.
That doesn't surprise me.
Without
It's the
making
Cowboys.
it to a conference year. Mike
First team
McCarthy has one playoff win without Aaron Rodgers.
So this guy can't stand Mike McCarthy.
I can't.
Man. For 15 years,
it's fraudulent. The whole thing, it's a house of cards. When he got hired, he said he watched every play, and then he admitted at the introductory press conference, I just said it to get the job.
He's all right.
So he'll win in the regular season, and they'll lose in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, so that's the right answer. And by the way, Brew even kind of agrees with it, which is why Brew had question marks. And by the way, have we ever had back-to-back graphics with question marks on them?
It's called nuance.
All right, listen.
Everything's not black and white.
It is even the biggest Cowboy critics can't find 7 definitive losses. I know because I'm sitting across from one, and he only found 4. And then he had a bunch of who knows who done it. But it won't matter. Like, I'm not saying it won't matter because they can't succeed. What I'm saying is they are, from a narrative standpoint. Oh, no, I'm not going to say that, bro. They are almost.
He's going to explain
the Bizarro. No, they're almost like the Bizarro Chiefs in this regard. There is no matter how the Chiefs do this coming regular season, if they're in the playoffs, no one is going to say they're drawing dead. No one's going to write them off.
That's right.
And no matter how good the Cowboys are in this regular season, that no one is going to go into the playoffs saying like, oh, this is the year I guarantee they don't fall short.
Correct.
There is nothing they can do in the regular season to earn them the postseason benefit of the doubt.
We saw it with the tomato cans. Like, can we see the schedule one more time, Hobbs? Because I think
the real one,
there aren't
with
as many tomato cans this year. That's why.
No, but they will lose a game that they're not supposed to lose that no one sees coming.
But they'll,
like that's like the
That's why
that's like the Saints game. That's going to be
but they
like
also
the Cardinals
won't
game.
lose all. This is the problem with this exercise. They're not going to lose all their hard games. They're just not.
Well,
sure. They'll lose that Bengals game. That doesn't deserve any question mark.
Philly.
Week 14.
I got him
Week 14.
Week 14, Joe Burrow is prime Burrow.
If he's playing, and it's in Dallas. That's the other thing I like about Dallas this year. It seems like Brew doesn't. Is a disproportionate amount of their tough games are at home.
But see, I think that's a problem because they aren't as good on the road, and they beat up a lot of tomato cans at home.
Okay, that was all right.
I mean,
It's just tomato cans.
All right, I mean, can we take the tomato can off?
I think we should.
I know, but they got happy off of eating tomato cans.
Right, but they still get the Giants twice a year. They still get
right.
Washington twice
They'll
a year.
get their 10,
I know it seems impossible to you guys, but maybe the supernatural funk is it that we're using for our full Eagles analysis? Maybe that extends, or maybe it descends on them again, or maybe Big Dom is sick that day.
That's not how supernatural funks work.
Okay.
All right,
Obviously.
it's over.
Come
It's
on,
over.
that's not how it works.
Okay.
Ravens schedule starts tough in Kansas City. Never lets up. Second hardest schedule, including a Week 3 showcase in Dallas on Fox. That'll be a good one. Late bye week and a Christmas playoff rematch against CJ and the Texans. Nick, do you expect Baltimore to over or underperform this year?
Oh, I think the Ravens could be in a really rough spot. That's a brutal opening 5 weeks that you just saw there, and they've lost Mike McDonald, and I am going to be all last year. When it was like, wait, what happened to this team? We were like, oh, they lost their coordinator. That side of the ball got worse. They had the best defensive coordinator in the sport. He got the head coaching job in Seattle, and so they will be, in my opinion, worse there. I know Brew thinks they had big losses on the offensive line because the Jets added those guys, and he thinks that made the Jets' offensive line better. The reason the Mike McDonald loss to me matters is because last year they were getting career years from guys who had never played at that level. Kyle Van Noy had the best year of his career. Clowney had the best year he'd had since his third year in the league. That is, to me, that's about being coached up, right? It's not about just the raw, natural talent of those guys.
Or it's like Baltimore scheme, or like they've been good on defense.
When I say scheme, that's what I'm talking about. That's coaching. Yeah, we're in agreement there. So I think that it's the toughest division in football. I think that they have their own version of a Super Bowl hangover because of the great season they had and how crushing that final loss was. And the only thing, in my opinion, people can point to is, guys, they added an old running back. And I think.
Well, here's something else I can point to. Their culture, like 2 things you can count on with Baltimore: great run game or strong run game, and great defense. Yeah. Regardless of who the coordinator is, McDonald hadn't been there all those years.
Of course.
They are going to have a great defense and run game. And Lamar wins. Now we'll see what he does in the playoffs. He wins 75% of his games. Yep. Now I don't think they're going to win 13. I think 11 or 12.
Again, the number's 11.5. So like
No, I'm saying. We didn't have the numbers on the sheet,
okay,
so
yeah,
I wouldn't know if we were going by the
gambling,
numbers.
man.
Right. But I'm just saying, I think they win 11 or 12 games. I think overperforming will be 13 or more wins.
Gotcha.
I'm going
Okay.
based on last year.
That's fair.
But I just think that. I mean, I don't think there's any reason to doubt that they can be as good as last year without having as good of a record. So I think they'll contend.
They're also just, yes, they lost McDonald, but they haven't had a losing September since 2015. And so that early season schedule where they play all these tough teams, where it's KC, Vegas, Dallas, Buffalo, they're probably going to come out of that 2-2.
They also don't like to
3-1.
lose in the preseason, dude.
Oh, yeah.
They're
Exactly.
they lost one. They're like, we're
And a
winning.
place where
It's
they
a
can get-
tough start. It is.
Where they can get better, second year with Todd Monken. So they should be better on offense, having more familiarity with the transition from the old school
And
running game. that
Derrick
they had.
Henry.
I don't know where you sit on this. For the 6th straight year, I don't love their wide receivers. They've invested more into that position in the draft than any team in the league since Lamar got there. Some multiple first-round picks year over year, and I still
Flowers left a lot of
agree with
production
that.
on the field last year.
Yeah, I agree
He's
with
got to
that.
be better.
and I